What did health and wellness look like for you when you were a kid? And how did that prepare you to tackle this new career that you're in?
Totally. So, funny enough, it's not a new career for me because I don't know if you know this, but my mom was actually in the fitness industry my entire life. My mom actually is a freaking icon. She had her own show for 26 years in the fitness industry. She was on ESPN. I'll
Let's
butcher this,
go.
but ESPN for 10 years and Lifetime for 16 years every single day. And so she had a fitness show. She was like the guru of like workout DVDs,
Oh,
step aerobics, all the 80s, 90s, huge fitness crazes. So my first workout video was when I was 7 years old.
good morning. My name is Stephen Borelli, and you are tuned into the Sport of Business podcast. A few years ago, I started my business, Cuts Clothing, from my parents' basement in Washington. Leading a startup has its perks. One of them is connecting with like-minded individuals. On this podcast, you'll hear from some of the people I've gotten close with along the way. Get their takes on trends, business, and current events. And for future founders out there, hopefully you'll take something home that you can apply to your brand. This is the Sport of Business. Let's dive in. Welcome to episode 3 of For the Sport of Business podcast with my girl, Katie Austin. She is a fitness trainer, health coach, author, blogger, and just someone who brings the energy day in and day out. Katie, how you doing? Welcome to the pod.
Hi, thanks for that intro. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited and I freaking love cuts. Let's go.
Let's go. I was excited to do this podcast because Walker, who you've been talking to, and Josie, they said she's going to bring the energy just like you. So I was like, all right, I better buckle up and bring it today. So welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope I do. Looking like, that later afternoon by the way, if you're listening to this, it's 3:30 right now. I feel like that's when all my energy starts to die out a little bit, but don't worry. I had my second coffee at noon today. So we're feeling great.
Are you an afternoon coffee person?
Unfortunately, I am. I just like the ritual of drinking coffee. If I drink coffee after 2 p.m., though, I will not be going to bed that night. And so I do have to be careful about it. But I just love the ritual of like going to a coffee shop. It's like my favorite thing.
Oh, when I started the brand, I would always love to just hit that 2:00 coffee shop. You see people coming in, the traffic's a little light, but it kind of brings that soothing energy to the work environment.
It definitely does. It's not very good for my brain, but it's good for the soul.
So yeah, let's kick it off. Who is Katie Austin? Kind of give us the intro and kind of what you're up to lately.
Yeah, so a very long story short, Katie Austin, aka me. I grew up in Alexandria, Virginia. I was a Division I lacrosse player at USC, and I also studied TV and broadcast there as well. So I got started hosting the local sports show for about 2.5 years at USC. I just fell in love with sports hosting. I thought it was just what I really wanted to do. So after school, I actually graduated and I got a job co-hosting on Fox Sports West. I did high school sports for 3 years. And so that job was like very, very a grind, that's for sure. It's a different type of job that I'm doing now. And I've hosted events like the Super Bowl. I've done NBA awards. I worked for the NBA Summer League for like 4 years. And so, after I kind of transitioned from sports hosting, I kind of created a fitness online brand that is like healthy recipes, easy, realistic workouts for girls to do anywhere, anytime. And I've really expanded that into different guides, Katie Austin fitness app. I have my own show as well. And I just got named Sports Illustrated swimsuit rookie, which has been a very long time coming. And
it's huge. Let's go.
Yeah.
I was looking at that and just so impressed with all the stuff you do and how you organize it. And it's pretty incredible how big you've gotten in a relatively short period of time. It's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It is hard. I'm on so many different platforms and, a lot of the time a creator should focus on just YouTube or just TikTok. But for me, I try to really spread myself thin and do all the platforms because you truly just don't know which one's going to hit. Mm-hmm. And so I try to go hard like the last 2 years, just going hard at every single one and creating different content for each single platform and kind of like creating in a way that's different for every platform as well to differentiate it because you never know where someone's going to discover you. And so trying to just hit them all and crank it out. And yeah, that's
and get rocking. So yeah, in this podcast, we like to look at the business side of, whoever our guests are. Walk me through kind of how you go about understanding what content works for which platform.
Totally. So every single day is completely different. And I do Snapchat every single day, I would say. I do Instagram every single day, at least stories too. TikTok is around 5 times a week. YouTube is once a week. My show is once a week. Podcast and show, same thing. I have a new workout video coming to my app once a week. I do 3 new recipes a week. And so, to be honest, I actually do the content all myself. I usually edit all my content, think of the ideas. I'm the creative, I'm the
Beast.
producer. But I will say, because this is a business podcast, I don't really want to be like, I do everything myself anymore, because the only way I was able to grow was to hire someone. I just hired someone recently to be full time on the Katie Austin team. So I'm super excited about it. And it's really life changing for me to be able to really like grow the business in ways that I want to. Until last year, I was doing the customer service and everything. And I was just like, this is
Right.
not a passion. And I want to be the talent. I want to do the things that fulfill me, and are very gratifying. And I think helping others in social media is really gratifying, but it kind of takes the joy out of it when you're sitting on your computer answering customer service emails or constantly doing marketing things. And so I will say, I do a lot, but I now have help, which has been great.
And how big's your team now?
Oh, one person. Like I
Okay,
have
there we go.
one person.
So what was the come up like? We get a lot of creators that are aspiring to be like you. How did you go from, you know, in school to now where you are today?
Oh man, it definitely wasn't a wake up type thing where I knew what I wanted to do or I was having a clear strategy. To be honest, I never really had a clear strategy. And I think it's really cool because I was kind of the last generation. I just turned 28 and I was kind of the last generation that didn't really grow up with social media as
Mhm.
much. It wasn't really instilled in me, even in high school. My freshman and sophomore year of college, even I like barely Instagrammed. And so I think I just started falling in love with sharing content online and sharing things that are educational and helping other people. I think my first thing was, being an athlete my entire life and then stopped playing lacrosse. I myself was like, oh my gosh, holy shit, how do I work out without a coach? My entire life since I was 7 years old, I had a coach. So I was like, I know that there's other girls struggling with this out there. So that's how it all started. I started sharing content that I thought would help other girls, help empower them, help them feel more confident and how to work out in 5 feet of space. And so once I started sharing that and getting a little feedback, I will say it's really hard at first when you don't hear
Mhm.
any kind of feedback at all, even if it's just like 1 or 2 people and you think it's like for absolutely nothing. And people are making fun of you and they're like, what the hell do you think you're starting? Like, who do you think you are to be doing this? But once you keep going and you go like, if you make it past that year mark, I always say like, give yourself a year or two to like really set that foundation and see if you can like, A, if you love it, and B, if you can monetize. I think monetization, I'm really jumping all over the place here, but there's so much to say with social media and getting
No,
started
I
as a
love it.
creator. You shouldn't ever think that you can monetize right away. I never had the thought that I was going to make money off Instagram or off any social media platform. I was doing it to share it for a purpose to help other people. And so when you go into that mindset, that you're not trying to just share content to make money and profit off of other people, I think that's the best way to do it. But after that 2 year mark, you should start realizing, okay, how can I actually monetize my content?
That's awesome. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, from the outside looking in, people love you because you're just so unique and you're yourself. I always tell our team, we got to do things we love, because if we love it, then our customers are going to love it. It's going to be genuine. How do a lot of creators, when they start getting monetized, they kind of get pushed in towards, one way or the other. How do you stay true with, maybe there could be an area where you can get monetized and maybe you find yourself doing things just for the money. How do you balance that?
It took a little while because I will say when I first started out and I realized that I could make money off Instagram, I took some brand deals that maybe I shouldn't have. It'd be like,
Mhm.
oh man, $500. I definitely got to do that. But now I'm very grateful where I can actually pick and choose my brand deals. If it's a brand, I mean, I turn down 3 brands a day. I'm not even kidding. So I feel very grateful that I'm in the place that I can do it. The one thing that I would say has been growingly a lot harder for me recently for some weird reason. I don't know what really sprung this upon the world, but I've gotten so many haters lately. It's crazy. I think the more vulnerable you are online, it can help others and the more you're going to grow. I think that's why I've grown a lot lately, is because I've been so real and authentic, but at the same time comes those haters. And that's actually been the hardest thing for me to
Yeah.
deal with. Because people are brutal, man. It's crazy.
And one when we get haters, it kind of inspires me. How do you deal with like the trolls of the internet? Because I find them like the worst types of human beings. They sit in their basement and they just complain. How do you like mentally deal with that?
I would love to tell you that it doesn't get to me, but for some reason, I've just been getting more and more. I think it's because I'm growing a lot more. Like I just reached like 14 million views
Wow,
monthly on Snapchat. And, going from 0 to 14 million views in a year on Snapchat has been obviously very different for me.
incredible.
And I'd say that's like the biggest growing platform, and even TikTok as well, like going from 0 to 600K, and those are all quick apps. Like Instagram, not as much, it's very gradual. But the other apps for me have been different because I'm reaching an audience who doesn't know who I am, and it's very, very quick and fast engagement. So to be honest, I'm still figuring out how to deal with it and be like, okay, these people don't know me. And there's no way that they would sit in a room with me and tell me these things in real life. It's just like, I know they wouldn't. And I know at the end of the day that they would be, nicer to me in person. So I try to tell myself that. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't get to me, because some of the comments are really
They're like dark,
dark,
dark.
really, and they're really deep. It's like they know stuff about me. And I'm like, dang, they're like, what you did last Tuesday, that was different. And I was like, whoa, like it's so weird how people really know what you're doing.
In one degree, that's got to be a compliment. If they're like, she was at X restaurant on Tuesday
Yeah,
and that wasn't like you or something, like, it means they're really paying attention. So there's got to be a sign of
for sure.
respect in some
Admiration. Totally.
admiration.
Yes. Yes. And nonetheless, I don't want to make it sound like I'm not grateful for my growth and my followers and people who engage with me. I love it. And that's what, I love to do. It's just sometimes when you're trying to spread content, like I'm not ever spreading any like hateful content or
Mhm.
anything like too out there. Usually it's just like workouts, recipes, and lifestyle tips. And so when someone comes back and they have hateful stuff, it's like, whoa, are you okay? Is it you?
Yeah, it's definitely them.
Yeah,
So, let's take even a step back. What did health and wellness look like for you when you were a kid, and how did that prepare you to tackle this new career that you're in?
totally. So, funny enough, it's not a new career for me, because I don't know if you know this, but my mom was actually in the fitness industry my entire life. My mom actually is a freaking icon. She had her own show for 26 years in the fitness industry. She was on ESPN. I'll
Let's
butcher this,
go.
but ESPN for 10 years and Lifetime for 16 years, every single day. And so she had a fitness show. She was like the guru of like workout DVDs,
So
step aerobics, all the 80s, 90s, huge fitness crazes. So my first workout video was when I was 7 years old. So I'm a very unrelatable girl when it comes to how I grew up health wise, because I had the healthiest lifestyle. And I think that's why it's just come so naturally to me,
Mhm.
to be honest, because my dad is a professional athlete and my mom was a fitness guru. And so I've always been, health and wellness and working out has been like the forefront of my entire life and very instilled in me. But I will say that I was never like into working out per se. It was more,
Mhm.
I was an athlete my entire life. And so for me, it really wasn't working out about the aesthetic. It was always like, let's work out to get stronger. Let's be the best on the field.
Mhm.
And, that's how my parents really raised me. So, yeah, like I grew up in a household where I wasn't even allowed to have Advil. So it was
You
like
know what?
very
My
health.
mom was the same way. She's a Cuban mother, and they're super against that. And they're like, no Advil, no Tylenol. And right when I went to San Diego State, I got sick, and my friend gave me one, and I was like, is it two? Is it three? Is it four? I was trying to learn. Do you take Advil now? Then I'm guessing, or no?
Yes, I take Advil now, but it has to be like a really bad headache. You know what I mean? Like I think I had the exact same experience in college. People would like be hungover and take Advil, and I was like, "Whoa, that's you guys just pop it like that? That's wild."
So how did that mindset as an athlete, as a kid, kind of prepare you for the business side of all that you do, whether it's negotiations with Sports Illustrated or just brand deals that you have to kind of speak in, not the influencer side of you, but the business side? How has that mindset helped?
Yeah, a couple things. I'm a huge advocate for getting young females involved in sports. I think it teaches discipline. How to work with other girls is really huge, and being a
Mhm.
leader, being the captain of your team, and teaching time management as well. I would say the biggest thing, to be completely honest, as you asked that question, I actually kind of thought of it right now. Um, But it made me think, because athletics was so hard for me my entire life, and how, no offense to sports and in college sports, I was in hell. And I worked so hard. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. every day for absolute years, and, you know, didn't enjoy every single day of lacrosse. And so when I actually quit, working hard was easy. It was like, oh, I can stay up till midnight and work, and that's working hard. Like, this is easy. I can do anything. It set me up to really, like, really work hard.
Mhm.
And so I think, it really instilled in me some amazing attributes of, like,
Totally.
motivation and discipline and everything. But to be honest, like, once I quit playing, I thought I could accomplish anything if I wasn't playing that sport anymore.
How did you get in your groove from sports to this? I know for me, I had to jump around through 3 or 4 different jobs before I kind of got my rhythm and cuts. And that period of time was just like a career development. I felt like I kept swinging and missing, swinging and missing, swinging and missing. Did you have a period like that before things started clicking?
Absolutely. I think if you, like, you're so blessed if you don't. 99% of people out there go through those different steps to figure out what exactly they're meant to do. For me, I was in sports broadcasting for a very long time, and I thought, to my core, I wanted to be Erin Andrews, and I went to school for broadcast. I hosted college sports there. I did internships for sports broadcasting. And, I was probably around like 24, still making, maybe 40 grand a year,
Wow.
and in sports, and, having different jobs here and there, where I was literally doing everything for free until I was 25 years old in sports broadcasting. And so I think, when I realized, wait a second, this isn't as fulfilling as I thought it would be, and it's a lot of hard work for not much pay and not much personality per se. Like, if you know sports broadcasting at all, you're very replaceable. No offense to any sports broadcasters out there, you're talented and do amazing. But personally, what I thought, I was replaceable. I got 3 questions that I could be asked, and I was like, this doesn't fulfill me. I feel like I need to be more creative. And I started doing online content, and it started popping off. But I will say, I never quit my sports broadcast job. So I had like a double job for about 2 years, I would say, where I was in sports broadcast and no one really online knew. But then in sports broadcast, no one knew that I was a fitness influencer. So yeah, it was really odd.
What was the jumping off point where you said, "Hey, I'm going full board"? What, like, was it a brand deal? Was there a moment that you realized,
It was the pandemic. And
wow,
I
that's so
think
cool.
so much, because it made me, I had the coolest sports job lined up. I was about to do so much work for the NBA, which I still would obviously love to do. And I still, like, this year we'll go to the Super Bowl and stuff and work there. But at the same time, one of my coolest jobs got canceled, and I was like freaking out. And I had to obviously everything was online. And at that point, hosts, who knew when they were going to go on the court and on the field again and be able to interact with players in real life. And so I really did fitness full force starting March of 2020. And obviously, with that, people are looking to in-home workouts and to recipes. And that's when I really just gave up sports broadcasting. So it's actually more recent than it feels, I guess, but also feels like a long time ago. Like, I don't know much about sports these days.
So yeah, I mean, March of 2020 was two years ago now almost. It's crazy how time flies. I feel like I keep referencing 2020 as like yesterday, but it was like 2 years ago.
It's weird. It's really weird.
What now looking kind of deeper into social media in terms of a business, what's your favorite platform? Like which one are you like enjoying the most?
Okay, my favorite platform that I enjoy as a user is TikTok.
Mhm.
My favorite platform to
Why?
post on. Why? I think it's so creative. I think you actually learn a lot. You can see so many different
Mhm.
cultures. It's very diverse on there, and the For You page is just like tends to exactly what you want to see.
Mhm.
It scarily knows exactly who you are, and I just feel like people are way realer on TikTok than they are on Instagram. But the one platform that I love to post most on as a creator is Snapchat. I think if you are listening to this and you are not on Snapchat, you're doing it wrong. Get on Snapchat. It's amazing for brands. It is amazing for creators. You can reach an audience that doesn't know who you are very fast, unlike Instagram. I actually think that Instagram is my like least engaged platform compared to Snapchat even. So yeah, Snapchat for sure.
So are your brand deals, are some of them specific towards Snapchat or TikTok, or is it kind of the whole package?
Usually it's all specific, which if I was a brand, I would not do that way. I would do something and just say, hey, repost it across all platforms, because why not? Every single audience that I have on different platforms is different. Like my Snapchat is so different than my Instagram, and my Instagram is so different than my TikTok. So, and I kind of weirdly have a different personal brand on each one.
Is
It's
one more like erratic or serious or?
Yeah, my TikTok is more like I'm drunk. This is the real me.
I
I'm
love that.
weird. I'm so weird. My Instagram is a little bit more curated, and they're like workouts and recipes and just like me and a cute outfit. And then my Snapchat is like me in this moment. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm cooking. I never have makeup on. I always have my hair up. It's like real time. I can't even put a filter on it. So that's why maybe I like Snapchat so much, because I feel like it's mostly me.
I got it. Got it. So are you on Snapchat right out of bed cooking eggs or doing your thing? And do you get negative hate on Snapchat for that? Or is it mainly on, where does the
Yeah.
negativity come from
Yeah,
there?
it's mainly on Snapchat and TikTok, but yes, I am a Snapchat addict. I will say, I think I post, upwards of 12 frames a day on a good day, and I think it's the best platform for engagement. Quote
And
me on it.
I'm quoting you on it. I'm quoting you on it. I'm looking at the team saying we got to get more involved with Snapchat. We have a huge effort everywhere else, but Snapchat's the one we just haven't been able to click for us. Is it more female, or is it like walk me through what you would do if you were us?
Oh, if I was you guys, okay. So first, I would start with some Snapchat ads.
Mhm.
Snapchat ads are pretty cheap compared to Facebook ads, and I think that they're very clickable, and I think they have high click rates as well. You would be surprised as well, because Snapchat seems like a very young app, but all my Snapchat followers are like in their 20s, so it's not as young as you actually think it they are.
Mhm.
And there's Snapchat shows, so I just got picked up for a Snapchat show as well. So like, you know, there's so many different ways to do it. They have Spotlight now, which you can win $1 million freaking dollars on, which no one even knows. It's crazy. Like you can make, if you go viral for one Snapchat Spotlight, you can make 50 grand in a day. Like no one knows how many platforms there are on Snapchat. Also, if you create a branded Snapchat as well, you can have highlights on there as well, highlighting your like favorite pieces of clothing for cuts or something, or having people model it that can stay forever. Just like a behind the scenes Snapchat, maybe. I don't know, but I just really believe in it.
We got to get heavier into Snapchat. Uh, let talk me through how the Sports Illustrated rookie came to be. I mean, that's huge. Walk me through all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot. I will try to keep it short, but I first auditioned in 2017. Basically, Sports Illustrated swimsuit first opened up online in 2017, where you don't have to have an agent and they don't have to like seek you out. You can actually audition online. So I posted my first tape then. I posted a tape also in August of 2020. I got in the top 15 for Swim Search in March 2021. I shot for SI swimsuit in May, and I just found out that I won and shot for the 2022 issue as the first rookie of the
Let's
year
go.
in Montenegro, which was insane. And so it
So
became
cool.
like, it was like a 4-year journey. And so I'm not going to lie, it was really long and like really hard. And like, at sometimes you just want to be like, okay, I'm like, this is so far in the future that it's hard to even comprehend. And
Mhm.
so when I actually got it, first off, I felt like I really earned it. It was like, holy crap, I like did this myself. No one got me here as a favor. They want me here because they want me. I went through the entire process online. So I did this. So it's a very gratifying feeling, but it also is like so surreal, because it's like a moment you dream about for so long. And then you literally shoot your rookie shoot in Europe for a week. It was crazy.
And was the production like next level?
Next level. Like 30 people working on you. Like
That's
I'm the
it.
type that really doesn't know how to do my hair and makeup like at all. And they had a team like blow dryer, blowing your hair. You get shimmered all up and tan and like it was wild. And
You get to put a robe on, you can do the whole thing.
exactly. And I'm not a model, so it was really funny. I guess I am a model now. I shouldn't say that, but it was so funny. They like asked all the models on set. We each have our own individual day, but they're like, "Tell us about your first modeling experience when you knew you wanted to be a model." And I was like, "Right now," like literally. So it was really good though.
Yeah, I like how and is that new for them? They're transitioning more to people like yourself who aren't traditional models but have a large following and things like that.
No, actually, not necessarily. The girls in the past, they're not like huge following. I think I technically am the first influencer I want to say that's ever really won. Um,
Huge.
but they said that they picked me for like professionalism and business wise to work with. And I think the girl I won with is a real model. So I would say no.
So
I'm the
you're one of one. Let's go.
I would say I'm the first influencer. I mean, Camille Kostick was obviously, she was in 2017 when she
Mhm.
won as well. Now she's she's always been a real model, but now she's also an influencer too.
So do you see yourself spending some more time in the modeling uh, field as well, or is this kind of it?
No, this is probably, I mean, obviously, if like a magazine came to me and was like, "Will you model for us on the cover?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." But I like to say this is the cheesiest thing in the entire world, and I'm really sorry for being so cliche, but I don't consider myself a model. I consider myself a role model. I don't really want to be just a photo of me, and sometimes I just don't think that you can see who a person is and really help someone by just modeling. And that's why I always wanted to be a part of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit, because it's so much more than that. We're doing like workouts together, and I did workouts for a whole entire year with SI Swimsuit and their community, and like it's just so much more than just like pretty photos. So to me, it's just very different.
What I love hearing you talk about is you truly know your why. And it would be easy for another person to say, "Hey, yeah, I got one, I got Sports Illustrated, I can go into modeling," but that's not your why, so you're not going to do
Yeah.
it. And I think that's so important for young people or in business or whatever you do to know your why, because then that's going to keep you on that straight line that will ultimately lead you to things that you could have never imagined because you're staying true to yourself. So that's awesome. How do you have just your positivity is glowing through the screen? How do you stay there? How do you keep that?
I will say, I'm a very happy person, and I'm very blessed to be very happy.
Mhm,
Um, but I obviously do have my days. I'm not like insanely positive all the time. I
mhm,
try to be, but like 90% of the time, I'm very positive. I would say working out really helps a lot, keeping a positive
totally.
attitude, endorphins. Um, you know, I'm also very grateful that you said it best. Like I know my why, and I
Mhm.
think that keeps me at peace and very positive because I know exactly what I love to do. And I think, I know what makes me happy. I know being around people that I love makes me happy. And I know exactly what I don't like to do.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. I know I get that question a lot too. And um, I think there's just so many amazing, beautiful things about life that it's hard to sometimes be negative.
Is it hard to go from creator to business person? And like, when you're talking contracts, that's like kind of a different person than the person that they're paying for on the screen. How do you balance that? Do you have someone else worry about contracts, or are you kind of like, how does that work?
So now I actually have a management company, but again, I feel like I'm really not giving tips here because it's just who I am. My dad is a lawyer. So my dad's been my lawyer my entire life, and he taught me how to do contracts, how to read contracts. So I would say I'm even more like the business side of my business than I am the talent side because I built it from the ground up, and people don't really realize how much freaking business goes into being an influencer and how much you actually need a freaking brain and be smart to post content online. It's not just like I'm posting content to post content.
Mhm.
There's a lot that goes behind brand deals. There's a lot that goes behind production and creating it and actually posting it. And so, it's more than just like a photo that you see online. But now I do have a management team that helps me. But I would say if you guys are trying to be a creator, just know the basics of a contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like know what in perpetuity means and know what,
Boy.
usage you want and whitelisting, all those kinds of things like that are very common for social media
Has
contracts.
anyone tried to one over you and you kind of said, nope, I'm Katie Austin. My dad's a lawyer. That's not what we're doing.
No, I will say now I can say that, but when I was just first starting out, the amount of times that I got burned and I got used was crazy. I have some wild stories about LA. Like LA, when you are
It's
like
the worst. Yeah.
22 and you're just trying to start out, people think they could take advantage of you. And I even have some instances where like I feel like I could still sue to this day, but my dad's like, dude, it's not worth it. Just keep going. It's fine. But absolutely, I feel like that's just a learning lesson of your 20s, though.
Yeah, we definitely when we first started out, we had a production facility in Los Feliz, and these guys we had a big order come through, and they shipped it to our warehouse, and our warehouse gets in there like this is like 25%, and then I called them and said, hey, you guys missed 25% of it, and they said, no, we sent it, and if pretty much like sue us, and it was like one of these things that it was a he said she said, but our these people get orders all the time. They clearly wasn't on the truck. And it was one of those things we didn't have a good contract and just talk to my lawyer. He's like, honestly, it's just better just to press forward and get a new factory and kind of rip the Band-Aid off from that place. But yeah, I feel like that's part of you need to have those getting burned to have success because then it'll prepare you for the future.
And then you start to protect yourself too. And I mean, right off that, they're not really failures. They're learning lessons that you learned. And it's good to learn those early because it's good to, fail early so you know exactly how to proceed and how to go from there when it happens next time.
Definitely. So we're in 22. There's a lot of New Year's resolutions out there. Fad diets versus real diets. A lot of people will do these 21 days of fasting or X, Y, or Z diet. Do you have an opinion on the two, or what's
I have
your
an opinion. I don't like fad diets. That's for damn sure. I've never in my entire life done a fad diet. I think that they don't work. They're not realistic. And if it's not practical for your lifestyle, you're not going to stick to it. I eat so much food and so much worse than I think people think I do. Not necessarily that I eat bad at all, but I think if you look at me online, you're like, oh, damn, she eats vegetables every day. She eats really healthy. Like literally right before this podcast, I had an entire thing of goldfish. Like that's
I
just, I
love
have to eat like a salad for lunch and then goldfish or something like it. I'm very in quotes balanced and I don't really think about a diet necessarily. I just think about like how the food will nourish me and how it will make me feel. I'm also a huge carb eater. I eat carbs constantly, but you also have to take into consideration that I'm also very active. Like I don't have a desk job, so I'm always constantly moving.
Yeah. When I was in college and then when I got my first job, I put on some weight. I'm still skinny, but I realized you're walking to class, just the walking aspect of life that you kind of lose when you kind of go into a normal job.
Yes.
So now I have an Apple Watch and I'm always trying to just get my steps in, try to walk when I can. That's the one part about New York City, or when I lived in Madrid over school, you could walk everywhere that I really miss.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like every little thing adds up too. People don't really realize how much like a 15-minute walk can do for you. Even if you're like sitting at your work desk right now to like do some arm toning moves or, every little thing adds up. You could do some push-ups on the kitchen counter when you're waiting for your pasta to boil. If you don't even have time for, a 45-minute workout, just like 2 minutes here and there really can add up.
Yeah. And that's really against the fad diets. And that's just a lifestyle. Just a lifestyle of trying to be active.
With that as well, I think the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is cooking at home. I think, that's the easiest way to stay healthy is trying out new recipes and making yourself the food because you know exactly what you're putting into it. And you can actually fall in love with cooking. And I love cooking healthy for myself. It's like one of my passions. It's like how I meditate truly and how I stay calm. And, it's like one of my favorite things I look forward to. So if you are looking to like eat healthier, I would say cooking.
Yeah. I have a lot of Uber Eats. It's easy because we do it with the team. But since COVID, me and my girlfriend, we got into cooking every night, and I'm the same way. I've really enjoyed it. Give me a recipe that you're enjoying right now.
Ooh, that I'm enjoying. I don't know why this came to the top of my mind, but last night I did this idea where, I hate cauliflower rice, right? I think real rice over cauliflower rice any
Mhm.
day. But when I eat fried rice, I just eat so much of it, and I want so
How
much.
good is fried rice?
It's the best thing ever. So it's my favorite food. And so basically I mixed half real rice and half cauliflower rice, and you actually really couldn't tell that there was that much cauliflower rice in it. And then I did just like an egg, I
I
did like
like it.
chicken in it, like four different vegetables. So I did carrots, peas, broccoli, and onion. Oh, and zucchini. So I love just doing like huge stir fry bowls. And that's kind of how I cook. I kind of just throw everything that I have and with some sauces. I'm a huge sauce girl too. And then
Okay.
boom, get a meal.
And do you count your calories, or how do you monitor intake, or is it just you put it in and you eat it?
I see when I'm hungry and when I'm not, and I'm a very intuitive eater, and I know when I need more energy, more fuel, and I never have counted my calories really before. Even being a athlete in college, I will say, it was hard because I was probably eating around like 4,000 calories a day when I was an athlete, which is
Mhm.
wild. If I try to do that now, but I would say I definitely eat like less than that, and I had to really find a balance of how much food intake due to how much working out. It takes a few
Mhm.
years to really figure that out,
Totally.
but I'm not against counting calories. I mean, if you are trying to lose weight, it's not the worst thing you can do because, calories in, calories out, it's like actually does really matter with weight loss. But at the same time, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I, I I find it hard to count calories because I just eat when I'm hungry, and I really love eating too.
Food is my passion. If I counted calories, I would take the love out of eating.
Totally. Are you? What's your ethnic background? Are you?
I am Croatian. Basically, I'm white, but I am Croatian, and my dad is like Eastern European.
Got it. So is your family? Are they just big eaters?
Huge eaters. So Croatia is like really close to Italy. So my family acts very Italian.
Got it.
Uh, I come from a family of like 60 people. Our Thanksgivings are 45 people a year, and family get-togethers are just food. Like so much food. All my aunts cook.
Breakfast goes into lunch, lunch goes into dinner. It's just nonstop.
Never stop eating. It's just and all my aunts like encourage you to eat more like throughout the entire day. And my parents are both one of five, and everyone's just
Wow. So
eat.
you have 10 aunts and uncles.
Yes.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so
It's so
fun.
fun.
Yeah, I'm Italian, and my mom's side is Cuban, and on the Cuban side, she's got five sisters, all girls, one of six girls, and
Oh my
just
gosh.
it's a madhouse with when all of the sisters get in. They speak Spanish and they're talking all like,
Oh, that's so fun though. Oh
it's
my
funny.
gosh.
Yeah,
Wow, you have like the best authentic food families ever. Like, oh, you're so lucky.
yeah. My dad's side he's only got one sister, but his extended family is pretty big, and they would eat as a kid for when I would go over my aunt's house. It was, and then while my grandpa was still alive, it was just nonstop eating
Oh,
over and over, and it was so hard because after dinner they always eat salads. Like they do salads differently. It's kind of like a post meal cleanse your palate. And as a kid, I never understood why you would do that, but now it's kind of uh, something I enjoy when I go back home.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's after the main course, but before dessert. So as a way just to like cleanse your palate.
Interesting. It's like, oh, so now that I've had all this maybe bad food for me, I'm going to pretend that I'm feeding my body.
Exactly. And my dad said they love I love spaghetti, even though it's like just an insane amount of carbs.
I see. I am not afraid of any pasta or rice. I don't know why, but I think it keeps me full for longer and it fuels me. I mean, that maybe that's the athlete in me. That's like, if I'm going to wake up at 6:30 and get my workout in, I don't mind eating a lot of pasta the night before. When you're an athlete, you go
Yeah,
up and the
totally.
day before the game, you have like hearty
Ton of
meals.
pasta.
Yeah. So that's just how I am, and I still am to this day.
And do you after a big meal, do you work out extra harder and balance it, or it's just kind of one big system?
Oh, no, no. I never balance like, oh, I ate a really big meal. I have to work out harder. It's never really like that. I will say my energy levels change though. Like when I work out less, I find myself less hungry. And when I work out more, I am more hungry. So my body just naturally knows.
And what about on the mental side with being a creator? And like you mentioned at the beginning, you have a lot of negative, you have positive. How do you kind of maintain a normal flow? It sounds like you come from a really great family to kind of balance you. How do you maintain that positive energy with it seems like a crazy schedule?
Yeah, I will say it's taken me a while to figure out how to manage my mind and focus right because I have so many different avenues and platforms that my mind is like a freaking squirrel sometimes and it's hard to like to have focus. Especially like when your mind is going, a million miles an hour can really mess up your mental health too because you never really have time for yourself. I
Right.
actually just recently moved into a house and I would say that my biggest thing is being in a place that you love.
Mhm.
B, finding a routine, something that is a habit for you every single day. For me, I go to bed at the exact same time every night and wake up at the exact same time every day. And I think like small things like that really help. My
Mhm.
favorite thing in the world is to walk to go get coffee in the morning. So some little things every single day that never change. Those little bits of happiness. I will also say what really helps me every single morning when I wake up is writing out my schedule. So I will literally write out 6:30 a.m. to 7, 7 to 7:15, 7:15 to 8. Like even if I have 15-minute increments that are free, realize how much time you have free throughout the day. You could have a 9 to 5 and be like, "Wow, I have a 9 to 5. I can't work out today. I can't do this today. I can't, find any self-care." I mean, you might have 10 minutes here and there that adds up to 30 minutes throughout the entire day if you actually schedule it in and write it out. Take those 10 minutes here and there to meditate or go for a walk or do something that makes you happy. So I find efficiency for me comes from scheduling.
Mhm. Yeah, and another word for scheduling, or what scheduling does, is it allows you to just be consistent. And one of my favorite quotes
Yes,
is, uh, "Growth is on the back of consistency," because if you're consistent, you can have growth, and that's something
yeah.
that I love.
I think I just recently learned that too. That's new for me because I've usually been like a very like crazy girl, go, 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 living at my boyfriend's place, living at my parents' place, and living at my apartment. And now I'm in one place. We live together and it like feels like a very different like peace of mind. So I completely agree as of recent.
Let's go. What are you looking forward to in 2022 as it's new year? A lot of people have new challenges. What's something that you're really excited about?
Finally being a part of Sports Illustrated swimsuit as a rookie, I think that's probably number one. Number two is slowing down. I think that I have really finally reached a point where I know what I'm doing, and I really set a really good foundation the past few years where I can actually work less, which sounds really crazy, but if you know me, that I've just like worked really hard for a few years, and I think I can actually slow down and work smarter, not harder. And so I'm actually excited to say no to more things.
Mhm. And I think what's beautiful about that is because you've gotten so bigger, you can probably do the things that are more impactful, which
Yes,
amount to all the little things combined. So that's amazing.
absolutely. That's exactly it.
So when is the Sports Illustrated, is that coming out
In May, I
in
think.
May?
I think. Yes. So my first photo actually already came out. My video did, but I don't think the other photos, like the actual magazine launch, is till May.
Okay. Are we throwing a party? What are we doing?
They are. I might throw myself my own party and like it's just so crazy to like think that I'm in it this year in a freaking magazine. I don't know. Like as a kid, did you ever like grow up and like look at that magazine? I had that magazine every single year and now I'm going to be in it in Europe. Like it's wild to even think about. I'm just really excited.
My first crushes were always on Sports Illustrated.
Absolutely.
I
Who's
don't
your
even know.
favorite?
Uh, what's her name? The most iconic brown hair. I'm blanking on her name. She was like the most iconic. Andrea Lima, is that her name? Or
Yeah, Adriana Lima or Argina Shank.
yeah, those were the two. Those are the two.
Yeah. Yeah, those are amazing ones.
Because
Oh,
they were just very like sexy and
yeah.
um awesome. So I think we got about 5 more minutes. We like to do some rapid questions. What's your favorite book?
That's actually another goal for 2022 of mine. I want to read more.
Okay. So we'll leave that one out. What's your favorite podcast that you've listened to that's not yours in the last 12 months?
Ooh, Skinny Confidential.
Oh, I love Skinny Confidential. That's a good one. I'll give favorite Sports Illustrated swimsuit model of the past. So the question you just gave me.
Of the past, I love Kathy Ireland. She's an iconic one. She's a few generations ago, but she's my favorite.
Who's your favorite recent person that's kind of your generation?
Either Camille Kostick or Brooks Nader, just because they also came out of Swim Search. I find like the girls that come out of Swim Search, I just can relate to more because they went through the entire process, and I love them. I love their energy.
And it's going to be hard to match your energy. They got energy as good as you.
I think so. They're great. They're really awesome girls.
Love it. And what is looking forward to your podcast? What's an episode you're looking forward to that the viewers can get excited about?
Ooh, we are actually doing season 2 coming out in March. And so there's going to be entirely new guests, a little bit more of a focus as well that we're thinking about for season 2. But at the same time, I'm super stoked about the new Snapchat show we just launched. And so on Snapchat, there's going to be the best clips from every guest from season 1, and also recipes, workouts, and lifestyle tips as well. So the Snapchat show, it's like an original show. It's called Katie Austin Friends. It's like the spinoff of Austin AF.
Let's go. That's huge. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. This was absolutely awesome. Anything else?
That's it. I feel like we talked about a lot. I mean, my app is just Katie Austin. You can find all my workouts there. And I hope everyone has a great 2022, and don't be too hard on yourself in the first part of this year. It can get really crazy, but take it one day at a time.
Awesome. There you have it. Katie Austin. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys.
Awesome.